Welcome to TV47. My name is Furaha. This is the Now Report, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Wellness Day afternoon. Guys, at least leo hakuna baridi kama vile jana ilikuwa. Today I do not have that much for you, but trust me, it is going to be quite entertaining. Situanze kazi. Now, we've seen public officials try some pretty wild tactics to avoid the law. But our top finance boss just took white-collar escape plans to the literal rafters. He was arrested after detectives found him squeezed inside his own ceiling. A wild moment caught in a viral post shown in this specific video. Now, legally, we have to emphasize that he was picked up over alleged procurement irregularities involving a tender for a county office block. So until a court weighs in, those claims are strictly alleged. But the logistics of his hiding spot, those are certified crime against common sense. Now, how does a whole director of finance physically hold himself up there? Was it graceful, like an action movie ninja climb, or a chaotic scramble on top of a plastic kitchen chair? More importantly, did he honestly think detectives wouldn't walk into the room, look at an open ceiling hatch, and just give up and go in between the... And he wanted to get to because na for home. Now, between the terrifying risk of accidentally crashing straight through the drywall and suffocating heat and from the attic and the thick dust, it had to be deeply uncomfortable. It is a hilarious reality check for local governance, proving that when the legal heat gets a bit too high, the only place left to go is up.
Ni mtu hasa na?
Yasi ndo ifanyaji.
Hiyo, naona. Hiyo time yote ni CCTV ikimulika, andi alikuwa anapanda.
Guys, have you noticed the colors as amevaa? It's nini. It looks like a familiar team. Arsenal, mnafani nuko juu. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans. No, I am not. Anyway, a tech company in China just took the phrase buying love to a whole new, deeply electronic level. Tech has officially unveiled a new AI-powered humanoid robot called the U1. And it is being marketed as the ultimate love, the ultimate lover, and it's a cure of loneliness for singles and the elderly. The CEO of their consumer brand, Michael Tam, really went all in on their romantic sales pitch. Ali promised that these bionic robots will offer an endless love that they will never betray you, and they will love you unconditionally for a lifetime. Honestly, I feel like high cliche directed at human relationships everywhere, but at least uko guaranteed that this partner won't abruptly log off and ghost you. Technically speaking, the Yuan is essentially a walking, talking large language model built into a human-like form to provide emotional companionship. But unconditional artificial love does not come cheap. Getting your hands on one of these loyal sidekicks will set you back 119,801, which is around 2.3 million Kenyan shillings. Yes, it is a fascinating milestone for robotics, but definitely a wild reality. Check on the state of modern connection. Now, when people are ready to drop that much cash just to ensure their companion's loyalty is literally hard-coded into a motherboard, yoni pesa mingi. Check in the video. Yeah. Love is expensive. Clearly, but million in Billy, guys. Just walk up to a person and talk to them. But then I'm not judging your choices. Choice ni yako. If you have the money, go for it. 2.5. Simba. Now, there is a regular air conditioner cleaner in Australia named Joseph McGrail Baitup, who just became a walking hazard to eardrums everywhere. This 58-year-old officially screamed his way into the Guinness World Record as the loudest man alive, unleashing a shout so violent, it easily matches the sound of a jet engine taking off. Joseph stepped into a radio studio, took a deep breath, and blasted the word "now" at a painful 122.4 decibels, which is high-key louder than a roaring chainsaw. In a hilarious twist of irony, he shattered a 30-year-old record which was previously held by a schoolteacher who actually won her title by screaming the word quiet. It took him 7 agonizing tries to get the winning take, completely destroying his voice for weeks. Standing in the middle of an argument with this guy sounds like an absolute nightmare, but he is surprisingly chill about the whole achievement. It just proves that you don't need high-tech gear to completely dominate a room. You just need the chaotic ability to rattle the entire neighborhood windows with a single syllable. Yeah.
No!
122.4.
Yes.
Came up.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! There's no way that you can actually practice for it. You have to just keep it for the day, especially with the world records attempt. It took me 7 attempts just for one word, which was the word now, and my voice was shot for the next couple of days as well. It was husky. It was terrible. My lords, my ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Canberra.
Wow, we have some interesting records out here. Now imagine, ananikumbusha, let me not go there. Imagine a 120-million-year-old case where scientists keep finding piles of chewed up bird bones with zero clue who the killer is. After 2 decades of guessing, researchers in China finally caught the prime suspect. It turns out the culprit was a bizarre little dinosaur that was basically a velociraptor, trying to live its best life as a flying squirrel. This tiny menace was about the size of a barn owl, but had a seriously confusing design. It rocked long, dramatic feathers on both its arms and its legs, giving it a wild 4-winged look. Since it couldn't actually flap its wings to fly, it will climb up ancient trees and glide between branches to launch absolute jump scares on unsuspecting birds. Well, this is a huge win for science to map out how animals first learned to get airborne. It is a brutal reality check for the prehistoric world. Even 120 million years ago, a bird couldn't just mind his own business in a tree without being weaponized. Feathered reptile droppings out of the sky to turn it into a snack. The canopy has The canopy has high-key always been full of unhinged drama. Now, honestly, I think we also have those jumping squirrels like that at this moment, of not the prehistoric type. I used to watch a lot of wildlife documentary, and you have a squirrel that just does the same jumps, glides, and yeah. Anyway, picture this. You're out in Dallas enjoying the World Cup atmosphere, and suddenly you hit your pocket and realize your wallet with your ID cards and emergency cash is completely gone. Now, of course, if you're Nairobian, that's scary now. Well, that is the exact soul-crushing panic a man named Juan Manuel Montero walked into. But instead of his wallet vanishing into the deep, dark abyss of a stadium, it fell into the hands of a group of hyped Argentina fans who decided to turn his personal financial crisis into a full-blown musical production. Instead of doing the normal boring thing and handing it to security, one of the fans literally got hoisted onto a friend's shoulders to lead a massive synchronized terrorist chant. They started aggressively bellowing Juan's full government name over and over across the crowded plaza like he was a legendary striker stepping onto the pitch. Now imagine the absolute psychological chaos of trying to process the trauma of losing your money while simultaneously hearing dozens of rowdy chanting strangers singing your identity in perfect harmony. When a completely bewildered Juan finally followed the sound of his own name and emerged from the crowd, the fans didn't just quietly hand the wallet back. They instantly broke into a brand new celebratory chant in Spanish, shouting, "He found it!" They hosted Juan into the air and started jumping around like they had just clenched the actual trophy. Well, it turns out that the ultimate way to safeguard your bank cards isn't a high-tech tracking app. It is just letting a crowd of overly enthusiastic sport fans turn your misfortune into a viral match day highlight.
Juan Manuel Montero, Juan Manuel Montero, Juan Manuel Montero.
Guys, see, we go try this hapo koja. Archives. Niko sure you'll get your wallet back. I promise. Do not take me by my word. No, ukienda hapo umejituma mwenyewe. I did not tell you to do that. Sawa. Now, Australian biotech firm Cortical Labs has successfully trained a biological computer consisting of 200,000 living human brain cells integrated onto a silicon chip called the CL1 to play the 90s 3D shooter game Doom. By translating the game's environment into electrical signals and monitoring the neurons' real-time responses, researchers only proved that these cells can adapt to complex stimuli and master goal-directed learning. While the cells currently have a 6-month lifespan and lack consistent programmability, the technology holds immense potential for robotics, personalized medicine, and AI-like machine learning. Ultimately, because the human brain operates on a fraction of the energy required by traditional silicon computing. This breakthrough represents a major step toward developing highly power-efficient and sustainable forms of intelligence.
This is like a right. Oh, it's an asterisk. That's one. Oh, wow. Right at the edge is where you see the axons. Yeah.
So this whole cell
Is that like
is an
a cell
astrocyte.
body? Yeah. Astrocyte.
Yeah.
Wow.
The CL1 system interfaces biology and silicon computing using electricity as a shared language. We pattern that electricity to input information into the cultures and then decode the electrical activity of these neural cells to try and get an answer. Biology has extraordinary properties that we have not been able to replicate in silicon or AI despite significant investment. Biology runs with incredibly little energy and it can learn with incredibly little data. This is why we're so interested in exploring these extraordinary properties to build a more sustainable and more powerful form of intelligence.
From this tiny little chip to the computer, they're connected via these electrodes, and then a programmer can never even have to look at these from the cloud and do some Python code and program them and send in electrical currents and see how they respond. And if you can actually teach them to play games like we've shown or learn other types of tasks and do some cool computation that way.
Well, that is all from me today. I enjoyed being here, Leo. I was actually glad that Silikwambia itakuwa fupi, but I'm sure you were entertained, and as from the last bit of information, you were also educated pia. So you take care, have a lovely day. Na TV47 at 1 is coming. Na jioni kumbuka kuna The Now Report again at 6:30 p.m. with Daddy Mato. Take care and have a lovely day.